Okay, so I was just driving from New York to Toronto, and I get to a toll booth. The toll booth says cash or easy pass. And as I'm getting closer, I realized that I didn't have an easy pass or cash. And I pull up and the woman says, cash, easy pass. I said, sorry, I don't have an easy pass. I also don't have cash. She's like, you have no cash? I'm like, no, 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 I'm coming from Toronto. I have no US money on me. I said, can I give you a credit card? She laughed at me. She was like, no, we don't take credit card. I said, so what do I do now? She says, now I give you a fine. And I'm like, really? And she pauses. She turns around. She takes out her wallet, pulls out $2, and says, I'll pay for you. Have a good day. I was like frozen. I couldn't even start driving. I was just like, really? It was so heartwarming. It was so moving and so meaningful. And I saw that it was meaningful for her too. And as I drove off, I thought to myself, this woman, she probably spends 98% of her day doing things that aren't very meaningful. She gets up, she commutes to work, she sits in a toll booth, she takes people's tolls all day. End of the day, the shift finishes, she gets in her car, she commutes back home, her day ends. It's not very meaningful. But I thought to myself, when she laid down that night, when her head hit the pillow and she thought about her day, I am sure that she remembered that moment and that was the most meaningful part of her day. It probably made her day. And it reminded me that really in all of our lives, so much of what we do is so mundane on a day-to-day basis. We're carpooling another day at the office, going to work, running chores, running errands. So much of what we do is really pretty mundane. It's not very meaningful. But what makes life meaningful, what makes our day meaningful, is when we infuse the day, and we infuse our life with those few moments that are so meaningful. When we can just cut out a little bit of time to put meaning into our day, to make meaningful moments. That's what makes our day, that's what makes our life meaningful. The Torah is not this history book. The Torah is a book that is Hashem's guide for our lives to make life meaningful, to live the most purposeful, meaningful, and happy life that we could live. And so when we take out of the Torah, we take these messages of chesed, of kindness, of Torah study, and we're able to cut out parts of our day and put that in, that's what makes our life so meaningful. When you can cut out 10 minutes of your day and say, 10 minutes I'm going to listen to a shir, I'm going to listen to a Torah class. 10 minutes I'm going to have a chavrusa, a study part, I'm going to study Torah for 10 minutes. And the end of the day, when your day ends, you go, those 10 minutes, that was meaningful. Yeah, most of my day was at the office, but that was meaningful. When we stop and we give our son a hug or our daughter a hug or our wife or our husband a hug, and we just say, I love you. That moment, that 30 seconds, maybe the rest of the day wasn't perfect, maybe a lot of it was mundane, but those 30 seconds is what made that day so meaningful. We have to stop and remember to make meaningful moments in our days, to take the beauty of the Torah and to put it into our day so that we all live meaningful lives. I want to thank you all for listening, and I want to thank this week's sponsors. Today's talk is sponsored by Bernita Young in honor of her father's yahrzeit, Pesach ben Yosef Alo Shalom. May his neshama have an aliyah. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you all next week.